Oh my goodness. Indiana Fever. Hey, y'all had me scared for a minute. All right, y'all had me scared for a minute. Coming out, y'all were lackadaisical. I mean, the chat and I grabbed them buns. We grabbed them buns. We said, yo, let's just make Sloppy Joe at this point. Let's just make Sloppy Joe at this point, man. They came out extremely slow, but then they turned into...
Listen to that energy. That's pure relief mixed with genuine concern. Because for the first few minutes of this game, the Indiana Fever looked like they'd forgotten how to play basketball. And when you're facing a depleted Dallas Wings team missing key players like Ulrich Ogunbowale and Matty Siegrist, there's no excuse for coming out flat. This should have been a statement game from tip-off. Instead, it turned into a master class in how to make things harder than they need to be before finally remembering who you are.
I see you, man. 5 for 5 from the 3. My goodness. Caitlin Clark. Caitlin, another 20 plus and 10 assist game. 20 plus points. 10 assist game, another one. What DJ Khaled at? Another one. Where is he? My goodness, man. Kelsey Mitchell, 18th straight 20-point game.
Taya Harris, remember that name because she just announced herself in a major way. 5 for 5 from beyond the arc, perfect shooting from 3-point range off the bench. 15 points of pure efficiency, while Caitlin Clark was out there doing Caitlin Clark things, dropping another 20 plus points with 10 assists. That's becoming routine now. Another double-double with points and assists. Another night where she makes it look effortless, even when the team around her is struggling to find rhythm. But here's what makes this performance significant. The Fever didn't just win this game, they showed two completely different identities in the same 40 minutes. First half, looked lost, confused, playing down to their competition. Second half turned into the team that's been terrorizing opponents for weeks now. Kelsey Mitchell extending her streak to 18 straight games with 20 or more points. That's not a hot streak anymore. That's sustained excellence. That's proof she's operating at an elite level night after night.
But it's okay. It's okay. Y'all played to their level and then you piped it up. I like that. We got to get into it. Hit the like, hit the hype, hit the noti bell so y'all know when I drop it. Hit the sub button. I highly appreciate it. And let's get it, man. 98-87 absolutely went crazy at the end of the game. Now, we were missing legs, right? We were missing some bunnies. I mean, dang, man. I was like, yo, the rabbits around here are safe, because we cannot shoot these bunnies right now. This is crazy work.
98-87. Final score looks comfortable, but anyone who watched this game knows it wasn't comfortable for about 20 minutes. The Fever were missing bunnies, easy layups that should have been automatic. The kind of shots that make you wonder if there's something wrong with the rim. And defensively, they were giving up second chance opportunities like they were handing out free samples at the grocery store. 11 offensive rebounds allowed to Dallas. 11 times the Wings got a second crack at a possession because Indiana couldn't put a body on somebody and secure the defensive glass. That's unacceptable against a full-strength team. Against a depleted roster missing two of their best players, it's borderline embarrassing. The talent gap should have made this a wire-to-wire blowout. Instead, the Fever had to dig themselves out of an early hole of their own creation.
Dog, she took so many ankles tonight. I mean, left them all disabled. Look at this. You reach, I teach. Welcome to school. Hey, man, you got school on a late Friday. What you thought this was, Odyssey? You know better. You was on this team. Look at her reaching. Oh, my goodness. Think she saw a ghost out there. Ooh-wee. Man, reaching but for nothing but air.
Watch Caitlin here, crossing defenders over, leaving them reaching at air. That's not just skill, that's complete control of pace and spacing. She's seeing the floor 3 steps ahead of everyone else. The defender reaches, commits to stopping the drive, and suddenly Caitlin's already gone in a different direction. It's like watching someone play chess while everyone else is playing checkers. And this is what separates good point guards from elite ones. The ability to manipulate defenders with subtle changes in speed and direction. Caitlin's not the fastest player in the league, she's not the most athletic, but she understands angles and timing better than almost anyone. When she crosses you over, it's not because she's trying to embarrass you, it's because she's created the exact amount of space she needs to get where she wants to go.
Now, Aaliyah Boston, I do have to say this. You need to calm down, relax, okay, breathe. on some of those possessions. She was rushing on some of those, man. She was knocking people over, taking crazy shots. Aaliyah, just calm down. Calm down, man. Have enough time on the shot clock. Just relax, breathe, look at your teammates, watch the defense collapse. Just calm down, all right? Dang. Okay.
Now here's where we need to talk about Aaliyah Boston. 16 points, 10 rebounds, solid numbers on paper, but there were stretches in this game where she was rushing everything, taking off-balance shots with plenty of time on the shot clock, forcing contact instead of letting the game come to her, committing offensive fouls because she was playing at 100 miles per hour when the possession called for 60. Aaliyah's in her second year. She's still learning how to read game situations and adjust her intensity accordingly. Sometimes you need to attack with force. Sometimes you need to slow down, survey the defense, and make the simple play. The challenge for young players is recognizing which moment calls for which approach. When you're playing next to someone like Caitlin Clark who sees everything, the temptation is to match that energy by forcing action. But Caitlin's creating with finesse and vision. Aaliyah's most effective when she's playing with controlled power, not frantic aggression.
Get Kelsey, just pulling it. Just pulling it and knocking it down. Now, hey, Stephanie White, you need to pay attention to when Kelsey Mitchell is getting dead end on the defensive side. All right, get that woman some help. Or let's go zone. Or let's throw somebody else at Paige Beckers. I mean, we can't allow one player to just absolutely dominate us the way that we did with Paige Beckers, though. Come on, man. Now, Paige Beckers did a great job getting around Kelsey Mitchell, and then we did send the help, but she was still not.
Kelsey Mitchell putting up 23 points on 21 field goal attempts. That's not efficient by traditional standards, but context matters. She's carrying a massive scoring load night after night, and defenses are scheming specifically to stop her. 9 for 21 shooting means she's still finding ways to...
It's crazy work. Caitlin Clark, look at it dancing on the Reek. Oh my goodness. Hey man, you better be glad I don't have my sound now. You better be glad I don't have my sound on. Get her the map. Get Enrique the map. Look how she did. Dang, Enrique. Dang. Let Caitlin do you like that? Look at the chicken wrap. The chicken wrap lay, man. Caitlin was just on another level tonight. Then Paige Beckers knocks down a 3. Caitlin Clark gets it and say, hey, you're not going to be able to celebrate that for too long. You better get back. Gives it to Kelsey Mitchell and told Kelsey Mitchell.
Taya Harris again. Look at that confidence. Catch and shoot. No hesitation. That's what happens when a role player gets hot and the stars keep finding her. Caitlin and Kelsey both made it a point to get Taya the ball once they saw she was in rhythm. That's championship level basketball IQ. Recognizing who has it going and feeding them until the defense adjusts. 15 points off the bench on perfect shooting from 3. That kind of performance can change a team's entire dynamic. Suddenly, defenses can't load up on Caitlin and Kelsey because there's a legitimate threat spotting up in the corner. Taya's not going to shoot 5 for 5 every night, but if she can be a consistent 40% three-point shooter who defenses have to respect, that opens up everything for Indiana's offensive system. And this is exactly the type of production the Fever need from their bench. Not 20 points every night, just timely shooting when the starters are struggling to generate offense. 7 to 10 points from your 6th or 7th player can be the difference between winning and losing close games in the playoffs.
Now, she was giving the ball to KK a little bit too much. And also, I think like KK doesn't have to necessarily go up with the shot. Just move the ball around. Sometimes Caitlin gets it to you. Sometimes you can go up. Sometimes you can just look over it like she did right there. Give it to Sophie. Give it to one of the key role players that we need and let them knock it down. But yeah, she put up 7 attempts. I think maybe 3 to 4 for KK. 3 to 4. Caitlin Clark did a fantastic job from the mid-range today. Fantastic job from the mid-range, man. Taya Harris.
50 points in the paint for Indiana. They dominated inside despite the sloppy start. That's the blueprint right there. When your outside shots aren't falling, attack the rim, get to the free throw line, put pressure on the defense to collapse, and then kick out for open threes. The Fever shot 53% from the field overall and 38% from 3. Those are winning numbers. Those are the kind of efficiency metrics that translate to playoff success. But here's the concern. This was against a Dallas team missing 2 starters. Araiko Ogunbowale and Maddie Siegrist weren't on the floor. The Wings were playing with a rotation that included players who wouldn't see minutes in a playoff game. And Indiana still struggled for significant stretches. They still allowed 36 points in the paint. They still gave up 11 offensive rebounds. What happens when they face a fully healthy opponent with playoff implications on the line? Can they afford to come out flat and spot a good team a 10-point lead in the first quarter? Because teams like Las Vegas, New York, and Connecticut aren't going to let you climb back into games easily. Those teams will take that early lead and build on it until the game's out of reach.
Always find these two right here. But before we get to Caitlin Clark, they need to stop with the second chances too, man. Oh my goodness. Put your cheeks on somebody and get them out of the paint. My goodness, man. I told them box out. They started grabbing real cardboard boxes so we can move furniture and move clothes and pack stuff up. I'm like, yo, what, do y'all not know what I'm talking about when I say box out? My goodness, man. I should have called. I should have put the call in. Caitlin Clark, 29 points, 11 for 18 from the field, 2 for 8 from the 3, 5 for 6 from the free throw line, 3 rebounds, 10 assists, 1
Caitlin Clark, 29 points, 10 assists, 11 for 18 from the field. Another masterpiece. Another game where she controlled the tempo, made everyone around her better, and delivered when it mattered most. 2 for 8 from 3 isn't great, but she compensated by dominating in the mid-range. That step-back jumper she's developed is becoming automatic. Defenders can't go under screens because she'll pull up. They can't go over because she'll turn the corner and get to the rim. This is Caitlin's 11th game this season with at least 20 points and 10 assists. That's not just impressive for a rookie. That's elite production at any level. There are all-stars in this league who haven't had 11, 20, and 10 games in their entire careers. And Caitlin's doing it while facing box-and-one defenses, constant double teams, and physical play that would make most rookies crumble. The efficiency is what stands out. 11 for 18 shooting means she's not forcing bad shots. She's taking what the defense gives her and making them pay. 5 for 6 from the free throw line shows she's getting to the rim and drawing fouls. 3 rebounds, 1 steal, only 1 turnover. That's a complete performance from your floor general.
I would think they would rely on her scoring and her shooting a little bit in that second string. But Sophie Cunningham, 5 points, 2 for 5 from the field, 1 for 3 from the three-point line with 1 rebound. Ty Harris, 15 points, 100% across the board, 5 for 5 from the 3, 2 rebounds, 1 steal. I mean, that's just beautiful work. Beautiful work. 53 from the field, 38 from the three-point line, and 85 from the free throw line. They had 34 rebounds. We out-rebounded them, but we gave up 11 offensive rebounds. That was crazy work. Scored off 14 assists, so we weren't really moving the ball as well as I know they can. They usually land around 24, maybe 22, 24, around that range. So, yeah, not a lot of finding open looks like that with 14 assists, 9 TOs. We took care of the ball very well. It's probably the best we've ever taken care of the ball, honestly.
Here's what this win really means for Indiana. They're now firmly in playoff position with momentum building at exactly the right time. Kelsey Mitchell's 18-game streak of 20-plus points is the longest active streak in the WNBA. Caitlin's putting up numbers that have her in the Rookie of the Year conversation despite missing the first month of the season. The chemistry between those two in the backcourt is becoming special, but championship teams don't just beat depleted opponents, they dominate them from start to finish. They don't give inferior competition hope, they step on throats early and never let up. That killer instinct, that ability to close out games in the first quarter instead of the fourth, that's what separates good teams from great ones. The Fever have all the pieces. They have 2 elite scorers in Caitlin and Kelsey. They have a versatile big in Aaliyah who can score inside and facilitate. They have shooters like Taya who can get hot and change games. They have defenders who can create turnovers and push the pace. What they need now is consistency. They need to show up with the same intensity for 40 minutes, not just 20. Look at how this game unfolded. Slow start, sloppy execution, missed layups. Then suddenly in the second half, everything clicked. The ball movement improved. The defensive rotations tightened up. Players started making the extra pass instead of forcing contested shots. That version of the Fever is dangerous. That version can beat anyone. The question is whether they can access that level of play consistently. Can they bring that focus and execution every single night regardless of opponent? Because in the playoffs, you don't get to ease into games. You don't get to figure things out at halftime. Every possession matters. Every defensive breakdown gets exploited. Every missed assignment leads to points. Stephanie White has done an excellent job managing rotations and keeping players fresh. The decision to bring Nalissa Smith off the bench has paid dividends. She's playing with more energy and aggression in that reserve role. KK Arnold is developing into a solid defensive presence who can give Caitlin rest without the offense completely falling apart. Lexi Hull provides shooting and veteran savvy, but depth only matters if your core players are performing at their peak. And right now, Caitlin and Kelsey are carrying too much of the offensive burden. Yes, they're both capable of scoring 30 on any given night, but sustainable success requires balance. It requires multiple players who can create their own shot and punish defenses that overcommit to stopping the stars. That's where Aaliyah's development becomes crucial. She's averaging 16 points and 10 rebounds, which is exactly what you want from your starting center. But she's capable of more. She has the skill set to be a 20 and 10 player who controls the paint on both ends. Getting there requires refining her decision making, slowing down in key moments, and trusting her teammates to help when she draws defensive attention. The defensive rebounding has to improve. 11 offensive rebounds allowed to a shorthanded Dallas team is unacceptable. That's effort and fundamentals. That's putting a body on your assignment and securing the ball. It's not complicated. It's not about scheme or strategy. It's about wanting the ball more than your opponent and doing the dirty work to get it. When you give up 11 second chance opportunities, you're essentially giving the other team 11 extra possessions. That's like spotting them 8 to 10 points just because you didn't box out. Against better teams, that margin becomes the difference between winning and losing. You can't give Las Vegas or New York extra possessions and expect to win. They're too talented, too well coached, too disciplined to waste those opportunities. The positive takeaway is that Indiana recognized their mistakes and corrected them in the second half. They tightened up the defensive glass, they moved the ball better offensively, they attacked the paint and got to the free throw line. That kind of in-game adjustment is critical for playoff success. Teams that can identify problems and fix them without waiting for a timeout or halftime speech are teams that win close games. So where does this leave the Fever as they head into the final stretch of the regular season? They're talented enough to make noise in the playoffs. They have two legitimate stars who can take over games. They have role players who are starting to understand their assignments and execute consistently. They have a coach who knows how to manage personalities and maximize strengths. What they need now is that killer instinct, that mentality that says we're not just going to beat you, we're going to break you. We're going to come out so fast, so focused, so relentless that you never have a chance to get comfortable. That's the difference between being a playoff team and being a championship contender. This game against Dallas should have been a 30-point blowout from start to finish. Instead, it was competitive until the Fever finally decided to play their game in the second half. That's not good enough against elite competition, but it is a win, and in a league where every game matters for playoff seeding, you take the win and learn from the mistakes. Caitlin Clark is proving every night that she belongs among the league's elite guards. Kelsey Mitchell is showing why she deserves all-star consideration. Aaliyah Boston is growing into her role as a dominant two-way center. The pieces are there, the talent is undeniable. Now it's about putting it all together when the games matter most. Because playoff basketball is a different animal, the intensity ramps up, the margin for error shrinks, and the teams that can execute under pressure are the ones cutting down nets in October.